He earned a degree in cognitive science from UC San Diego, then a master's degree in English from Cal State San Francisco. After spending 15 years in San Francisco, he and his wife moved to New England. Recently, they have retired to the panhandle of Florida. Paul has worked as a financial controller for a variety of brokerage firms. He has been the treasurer of the Haiku Society of America, Haiku North America, and of course, HPNC. For the last 6 years, he has been the editor of Modern Haiku. He publishes haiku under the pseudonym Paul M. His previous collection, Few Days North, Days Few, from Red Moon Press, won an HSA Merit Book Award, as well as a Haiku Foundation Touchstone Award. His latest collection, Witness Tree, has recently been published by Snapshot Press. And here's Paul.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, everyone. It's great to see you all. It's especially great to see people that normally couldn't make it to an HPNC meeting. I think Scott made the point, and I was thinking about that earlier today, that as terrible as COVID has been, in some ways there is a little bit of a silver lining in that I'm able to connect with people up in New England still, and then HPNC as well. So this is really nice, especially for me being kind of tucked away in the panhandle where there's nothing around here. So as Gary mentioned, I'm going to read today from my new book, Witness Tree. It's from Snapshot Press. This collection, the origins of this collection was the winner of, I think, the 2017 contest, his book award. People who have seen John's books or any Snapshot Press books will attest that John does just an amazing job. He did an amazing job as an editor, and he did a really great job just production-wise. So I'm very proud of the book for a number of reasons. The term witness tree really has two meanings. Its contemporary meaning is a tree that has witnessed significant events. So think of Sickles Oak that is in Gettysburg, that saw the fighting there. But a more historical meaning is it's a surveyor's term, in which surveyors would use what they call witness trees as markers of land they couldn't actually survey, such as when the boundary was a lake or a marsh. And this seemed like a very apt metaphor to me for my poetry, because on the one hand, my poems very much are witnesses of moments of significance to myself that I understand, but they're also sometimes markers towards something I've seen that has meaning of some kind, but I can't put an actual tangible feeling to it. So it seemed a very apt metaphor for that. And I think there's about 120 odd poems in the book itself, and I'm going to read, I think, maybe 30 today. So thank you again for showing up. Before daylight touches the hill, the backs of wild geese. Before daylight touches the hill, the backs of wild geese. And I'm going to read everything twice today. Brisk spring morning, after my making, the bones left over. Brisk spring morning, after my making, the bones left over. Daffodil tips, the tension in her leash. Daffodil tips, the tension in her leash. With a hop, a tree frog reveals itself. Glacial Valley. With a hop, a tree frog reveals itself. Glacial Valley. And this is a favorite. Creek boulders, a swallow's belly as it changes course. Creek boulders, a swallow's belly as it changes course. Honeybee, acre after acre of burned forest. I actually wrote this probably 7 or 8 years ago when I was up in the Sierras, and to me it's has a very different meaning now that I've talked to so many of you from the Bay Area and all the fires you've had. Honeybee, acre after acre a burned forest. Lilac breeze. The dog nudges the door open with her nose. Lilac breeze. The dog nudges the door open with her nose. Flower show. A bee selects third prize. Flower show. A bee selects third prize. I wrote that at the Newport Flower Festival. Awaiting test results. I spread the mulch thicker this year. Awaiting test results. I spread the mulch thicker this year. Growth rings on a truck full of pine logs. The day's last light. Growth rings on a truck full of pine logs. The day's last light. Summer rain. I bring some into the bank. Summer rain. I bring some into the bank. That was a poem that so easily wrote itself. A skipped stone disappears at last. Marsh orchids. A skipped stone disappears at last. Marsh orchids. Tin mine. The lingering sting of a nettle. This is a poem I wrote when I was doing a long, about 100-mile walk in the UK on the Cornwall's southwest coast path. I think Scott's actually done a piece of that. And it's beautiful countryside, very, PBS poledark, but at the same time, there's a section that they just had a long history of mining, and it's just really, it's scarred the landscape, and it will scar it for many years to come. And I hope that the phrase lingering sting is seen as the scarring of the landscape as well as myself. Tin mine, the lingering sting of a nettle. River bend, holding then letting go of a piece of quartz. River bend, holding then letting go of a piece of quartz. Another year older, a glacial erratic mid-slope. Another year older, a glacial erratic mid-slope. The night sky, away from the campfire, our small words. The night sky, away from the campfire, our small words. Entering autumn, the thoroughbred leans on its lead pony. Entering autumn, the thoroughbred leans on its lead pony. Day moon, the slow stream pillows against a boulder. Day moon, the slow stream pillows against a boulder. Bittersweet vines, I walk quietly between deer. Bittersweet vines, I walk quietly between deer. Rain collects in the downspout barrel, autumn loneliness. Rain collects in the downspout barrel, autumn loneliness. 3 a.m. watch, the lights of fishing boats, my only companions. 3 a.m. watch, the lights of fishing boats, my only companions. Grave shopping, the one with a nearby tree for climbing. grave shopping, the one with a nearby tree for climbing. Autumn colors, the snap as the jib takes the wind. Autumn colors, the snap as the jib takes the wind. Autumn wind, the moon has seen heath hens in the tall grass. And for those of you who may not know, heath hens are an extinct form of prairie chicken here in North America. Autumn wind, the moon has seen heath hens in the tall grass. A paperclip holding the file together. Winter hospice. A paperclip holding the file together. Winter hospice. His final effects. I share the elevator with a stranger. His final effects. I share the elevator with a stranger. Low winter sun, my fingers probe the empty birdhouse. Low winter sun, my fingers probe the empty birdhouse. Year end, a Mars orbiter briefly points toward Earth. Year end, a Mars orbiter briefly points toward Earth. And I'd like to end with a recent poem that's not in the collection. I think it can be read literally, but I think it also speaks to the nature of poetry itself. And that's the value I place on communities like HPNC, in which everyone shares so much of themselves. I think the one quality of haiku that means the most to me is its sharing nature, is how one person writes something and we all interpret it our own way and take our own baggage and history and emotions into the poem. And I'm very grateful to belong to several really good communities like this. Stepping into it, the field to which a bird lent its song. Stepping into it, the field to which a bird lent its song. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Great job, Paul.
Great reading, Paul. You know, there was a time in the early days of HPNC when we had a Two Autumns reading, and there was this guy who was always sitting back by the back door. And, you know, as soon as the reading was over, bam, he was out that back door. Next year, another Two Autumns reading, that guy's there again, stays for the whole reading, then bam, he's out the back door. And then one year, Paul comes up to me. He was that guy by the back door. And he says, I really like what you guys are doing here. And he wanted to be more involved with us. And he became our treasurer. So thanks so much, Paul, for all your help with this.
I always bought the book.
What's that?
I always bought the anthology. Then I was at the door, yes.
He was supporting the organization. So, so now, Sue, we're going to go to, we're going to talk about the contest, correct?